as an individual, at a single rat as an individual, but you only do that because you think of yourself as an individual. But you could also look at a single rat as a part of a bigger organism. Yeah, the organism is the rat.
And they also, isn't it kind of popping up unexpectedly, like bamboo the wrong way away from where it started, or rats?
Right. Yeah, that's right. And it's, or you know, for instance, ants is a good example. Because with ants, we sort of understand, we accept that an ant is not an individual. Yeah, that ants are they belong to an organism, which is the I don't know what ants. Colony, yeah, school of ants, yeah, colony. Fish, you know, that move in schools, school of fish.
Cockroaches.
Yes, as well, I think.
Yeah.
Humans.
Yeah.
You know, when Burroughs from yesterday, was talking about the virus, or the planet as a virus, he again suggested we look at the planet, at our planet, as a sort of rhizomatic entity. Okay, so here we have the three forms of image and the three forms of book. Let's just go through it again. So we are, do I have it over here? So we started from the representational image. Yeah, unfortunately I didn't keep them. Yeah. So the root book, the representational book. Okay? The representational image. Okay. Any questions about how that works? Next one is the sort of collage. The root is still there. Every part has its own origin in the world. Yeah. So this face represents a face. The legs still represent legs. So the image still maintains a connection with the outside world, but the connection is kind of scrambled. But it's still there. Yeah. This is still about the image referencing the outside. And then we have Hirschhorn, which of course it still uses the same materials in the sense that the previous images use, but it is a horizon, or at least that's how we want to see it as a horizon. You can have connections with the world outside the image, but kind of it becomes less important. A bit in the same way that it is less important in the Google image search, because you kind of realize that there is a different logic in place. The question is not so much what it references, but how it multiplies, how it bifurcates, how it self-creates. Yeah. So on that level, Julia, you could say that horizon is autopoietic. Yeah. Why is it autopoietic? Because it self-replicates without any need for external inputs. Yeah? Okay. Any questions?
Well, it's different, but why do they justify that it's superior? That's what they're trying to say.
Why is it superior? Do they say that it's superior?
No, but I mean, they've chosen to do their book in this way.
Because, well, maybe the answer is to do with state philosophy. Because there is the representational model of the root relates to the form of politics, which is representational. Yeah? And as we said, this is a politics of identity, of belonging, of unity, of something, of a commonality. But what about, what if you have nothing in common with the other people in the group? Does it mean that you have to be outside? Does it mean that there is no political agency for you? Or is it possible to have another form of politics in which in which it's possible to have a sense of community that is not based on identity. So another way to answer this question, why they prefer the rising, is because it opens up your work to the world in a multitude of ways. The representational work has only one connection with the world. It represents it, and that's it. And that's the one connection you're supposed to nurture and investigate and relate to. In the rhizomatic world, this connection is not severed, because the many parts of this image are still taken in the same isolation, can represent, it's still there. But in addition, there's loads of other things, there's loads of other connections. So your work starts to be a modulation. It starts to, rather than being sitting in a mold, referring to last week's lecture, rather than sitting in a mold, it is a modulation. It just opens itself to various interferences and connections. There are connections here with fashion and shop windows and rubbish heaps and consumption and mass production, and all these things are kind of coexist. They are not coexisting in a hierarchical structure in which everything is dominated by one logic of resemblance. There is a logic of resemblance, but it's only one logic among many. It's like they said in the beginning, that we kept our names, not because we believe that names are important, because we're trying to get to a point in which this notion of representation or resemblance is just one point among many points. It's just something, but it's not the essence. The essence, if there is still an essence, is the ability to self-reproduce, to multiply, to engage in autopoiesis. Okay. Now, I got a text from Sarah that she's downstairs, and I need to bring her in. So I think it might be a good place to finish. My suggestion to you is to read the chapter on the horizon one more time with feeling, and also read the next. Also read the chapter for next week, and we will continue. Okay, thank you very much. Next time.
I guess